Naomi Osaka defeats Coco Gauff to reach U.S. Open quarterfinals. Two-time U.S. Open tennis champion Osaka upset Gauff in straight sets, while Iga Swiatek beat Ekaterina Alexandrova. Naomi Osaka produced a commanding performance to knock out the third-seeded Coco Gauff 6-3, 6-2 in a highly anticipated fourth-round showdown between two former U.S. Open champions. After years of bitter disappointment at the year's final tennis major, Osaka showed flashes of her old brilliance on Monday as she took control of the match from the start, while 2023 champion Gauff struggled with her forehand and serve. The result carried Osaka into the Flushing Meadows quarterfinals for the first time in 5 years. She will next play Czech 11th seed Karolina Muchova. "The main thing I want to take away from this tournament is just smiling and having fun," said the four-time Grand Slam champion Osaka, who triumphed in New York in 2018 and 2020, but failed to advance past the third round in her last 3 attempts. "For me, honestly, I have the most fun when I play against the best players." Monday's showdown marked the first time that the two fan favorites met in New York since their memorable 2019 tussle when the then 15-year-old Gauff lost to Osaka. The fans, who had kept on chattering through the earlier match on Arthur Ashe Stadium, fell silent as the two began their battle, with Osaka breaking Gauff from the baseline in the first game in a superb first set. Gauff has spent many months trying to rebuild her serve, and was let down by it yet again as she produced a double fault on set point, 1 of 5 across the match. The mistakes began to pile up for the American, who handed Osaka another break point with an unforced error in the 6th game of the second set, and vented her frustration towards her box during the final game, telling her coaches, "Nothing's working." The pair embraced briefly at the net, after Gauff bowed out with a shot into the net on match point and Osaka smiled in a subdued celebration. "I'm a little sensitive. I don't want to cry. I had so much fun out here," said Osaka. "A big thank you to my team. We've been through a lot. It hasn't been easy, but they have been by my side." Osaka's comeback built on belief. Every time Osaka has reached the last 8 of a major, she has gone on to hoist the trophy. She will be hoping to maintain that track record in New York. She won the last of her 4 Grand Slam titles at the 2021 Australian Open, before withdrawing from Roland Garros to protect her mental well-being after disclosing her personal struggles with depression. The Japanese player skipped Wimbledon, and then left the U.S. Open in tears later that year after an unexpected third-round defeat, announcing that she would take a break from playing. She also took a maternity break for the duration of the 2023 season. Having failed to progress beyond the third round at her first 7 slams after her maternity break, she finally looked to have regained her mojo after reaching the Montreal final last month. Her partnership with new coach Tomasz Wiktorowski appears to be working, and Osaka said she never doubted she could get back to this stage in the majors. "You have to imagine it, and then you have to believe it for it to actually come true," she told reporters after showing off yet another bejeweled Labubu charm she had named Althea Glittersun, in honor of the late pioneer Gibson. And despite her struggles, Osaka said she never considered giving up the sport for good. "To hang up my racket for me permanently would be a very scary thing," she said. "It's like breathing air to me." Swiatek cruises into quarters. A laser-focused Iga Swiatek barely broke a sweat as the former U.S. Open champion methodically dismantled Russian 13th seed Ekaterina Alexandrova 6-3, 6-1, and booked her return to the quarterfinals in New York. The 24-year-old's crushing win on Louis Armstrong Stadium meant that she became the youngest woman to reach at least the quarterfinals of all 4 Grand Slams in a single season since 18-year-old Maria Sharapova managed the feat in 2005. Swiatek was typing away furiously on her phone as she waited for her on-court interview afterwards, and said she was sending a message to her coach, Wim Fissette. "I asked him to book a practice court for 10 minutes, if possible," the world number 2 said, before she explained what worked well in helping her reach her 13th major quarterfinal. "I would say the intensity and focus. In the beginning, I felt like she played fast and the court is different. I wanted to find my rhythm afterwards, and I was in my bubble. I forced the ball to go in. I'm happy with the quality." The Polish second seed next faces Amanda Anisimova in a repeat of the Wimbledon final, which Swiatek won 6-0, 6-0. The Arthur Ashe Stadium had that electric hum that only comes during the second week of a Grand Slam. The stakes were higher, the lights brighter, and every swing of a racket felt like a declaration of intent. Naomi Osaka stepped onto the court wearing her signature calm, a quiet that seemed to wrap around her like armor. Across the net, Coco Gauff radiated youthful determination, her head high, her eyes fierce, a young star who had quickly learned to thrive under pressure. This wasn't their first clash under the bright lights of New York City, but tonight felt different. Osaka wasn't just playing for survival, she was playing with a hunger that had been rekindled. After a challenging year of injuries and self-discovery, she had clawed her way back to the US Open with renewed purpose. Gauff, on the other hand, was riding the wave of her meteoric rise. Just 21 years old and already a Grand Slam champion, she had become the face of the next generation. The tennis world was ready for fireworks, and these two women knew exactly how to deliver. The match begins, a battle of fire and ice. The first set began with an almost eerie stillness. Osaka's first serve cracked through the night air like a whip, eliciting a low murmur of appreciation from the crowd. She held serve easily, punctuating her game with a 117 miles per hour ace that made Gauff shake her head with a half smile. But Gauff was no stranger to adversity. In her very next service game, she moved Osaka side to side with precision, forcing the Japanese star to stretch for wide forehands and dig out low slices. Gauff's athleticism was on full display, her footwork lightning fast as she countered Osaka's power with sharp angles. The rally that defined the set came at 3-2, Osaka serving. A blistering 18-shot exchange had the crowd gasping with every swing, Osaka hammering forehands deep into the corners, Gauff sliding into her backhand with impossible grace. When Osaka finally ripped a forehand winner down the line, she let out a rare roar, a flash of emotion that reminded everyone just how much this moment meant to her. She broke Gauff's serve at 4-3 and never looked back, closing out the set 6-3 with an ace that painted the tee. The stadium erupted in applause, but Osaka simply walked to her chair, expression calm, eyes fixed on the ground. It was a look of focus, not celebration. The turning point, Gauff fights back. If Osaka's calm was her greatest weapon, Gauff's energy was hers. The young American fed off the New York crowd, her fist pumps growing louder, her shouts of, "Come on," echoing through Arthur Ashe. She began the second set with renewed aggression, stepping into her returns and attacking Osaka's second serve. At 2-1, Gauff earned her first break point of the match. The tension in the stadium was palpable.